Hey guys, I'm here at the garage. I've got the new project truck here in the garage with me, and no Kagan today. He had school for his work, like that's important, but it is in the garage. I did not drive it here, and if you keep up with our YouTube shorts, TikToks and other stuff, you'll know what happened, but I cheated. So we'll talk about that, and I'll tell you what we're doing today here in just 1 second. So, to give you guys highlights, since the last video about this truck, I have put a new distributor on it, new coil, new map sensor. The map sensor probably wasn't necessary. I got it for 30 bucks, and that's a common problem on these. The coil looked bad. The distributor looked rough, had the little stuff growing on the inside. I put a new idle air control valve on it because the idle air control valve was pretty seized up. That's pretty well about it. I haven't even changed plugs on this side yet because I didn't think that was a problem because it was running good. But yesterday it kind of died on me and I couldn't get it started again. And I ended up either roasting either the battery's dead, like junk, or the starter gave out yesterday, because now when you turn the key, it don't do anything and it dims the dash out. And I know we ran the battery down yesterday, so I have got a battery load tester. I got a brand new starter with me today. I got a new fuel filter because I think that might be the source of some of the issues where it'll run and it won't run and it'll run and it won't run. And I'm going to go through doing a few things on the truck today and show you guys what I'm doing. So first come to first is I've had this thing charging for a little while, so I've unplugged the charger and I'll take that off of it. And I've got my old battery tester here, and I'll show you guys how this works if you've not seen one of these, which several of the guys, if you do much mechanic and all, you've seen one of these before, old school. I'm sure they got newer, nicer ones, but this is battery tester, and as you can see, says it's okay right now. And when I don't have it on there, it bottoms out, so it says it's okay. So let's test it under load. Shows it's good, so it would appear that our battery is okay. Now it's low right now because I've just had it charging for a little bit. Now I put a load on it, drew it down some, but it would appear that our battery's okay. So now I've had it charging for a little bit. I'm gonna see if the truck will start. We'll put the battery charger back on under boost just to give it a little extra help and see if it'll do anything now. Okay, so the battery's hooked back up, and we're going to turn the key on, and I'm going to listen. If you hear that humming, hear that? That's the fuel pump. So the fuel pump is running. It just shut off because it's got pressure. Battery tested good. I've got the charger hooked back up to it. We're showing well over 14 volts here on the dash, so normal. So let's see if it'll turn over. And it just drawed everything down, lights went off, nothing happened. So my bets is either the solenoid or the starter's junk. So on to the next step. So gotta be careful here. I don't want to scratch the bed. You know, perfect paint and everything. So right here is a starter, and so on this particular model, some of the older cars, your solenoid might have been up on the fender well or something like that. You know, it'd been like a single. Let me flip this here so here we go. Yep. So your solenoid had been up on the fender well or up on the firewall, and it would click in and off, and your starter would be separate by itself. This particular one, the way these are made, your solenoid is on the side of the starter. Okay, and so, oh look, they sent shims. And the nut came off. But so this particular one, the way this truck is it's got the solenoid built onto the side of the starter motor. And so my bet is, because I know what I done, is I ran the starter a lot yesterday, and I probably heated this thing up to where basically the inside of the motor is junk. Either that or the solenoid is junk because of the heat from the motor. So we're going to take the old one off, put this one on, and we'll test and see what happens. But I pretty well think that once I put this on, it ought to turn over, and then I got to figure out why it's not starting after that. So yay. Okay, so I got the old one out, and we're missing part of the boot here that goes to the strap. That's dry rotted and falling off. I'm telling how long it's been on there. And if you probably can't see it, but there's a nice shiny, I'm not gonna say shiny spot, but there's a spot right there. But whoever, I don't think this is the factory one, but whoever put this one on here, the wire went under here and it laid against here and then turned sharply back to connect to this stud here, and it was laying against the casing. Now these tend to get warm, and I don't like seeing wire laid against the casing, so I put the new one under there, and when I did, I actually moved it around the bigger cable and brought it over to where it attaches without laying against anything. So let me show you what else I got going on, because whilst I done that, before we go to mess with much else, you can see I've got a mess on the floor over here. And I don't have my light on the camera, but you can see there's the new starter, nice and shiny. And then over here, I have a new fuel filter, and there's the old one. There's gas all over the floor here. So that should dry up quickly. So here in a minute, what we're going to try and do is see if the starter and the new fuel filter helped anything, and see if it'll start running for me. So let me get set up and maybe throw a little wool dry on this just to get it dried up. Okay, so we're still up on the jack stands. I've got the battery hooked back up. It's been charging for a while. The new starter's on there, new fuel filter. So let's do this. Fuel filter's back on. I don't hear gasoline hitting the floor. Fuel filter. Fuel pump's back on. Guys, you guys know I can't talk. It stops. Everything's good there. So let's see if it'll turn over now. And it does. So starter was the issue. Let the pump kick off again. There's going to be some air in the lines. Okay. Let the pump kick off again. We're going to be chasing air for just a bit. But something tells me this is still not going to be right when we get it started. And I'll show you why here in a bit. Yeah, so we're still, let the pump kick off. See, if I give it the throttle, it's calling for more fuel and it still ain't doing nothing. So, let's go on to the next problem, because it should have fired by now. Okay, so what I learned is a couple things. And so those are the spark plugs we pulled out. And I'm going to see if I can't get those. See if you can focus on that. Looks pretty bad, doesn't it? That's the one I'm getting ready to put in. And so the one thing I want you to notice is see the gap difference. Try and hold that up straight there. There we go. So one thing is we put these in straight out of the box because we didn't have anything to gap them with at the time. And that is way too big. When I pulled these out of the box, I checked them, these were about 40 thousandths, and then according to the spec they're supposed to be 35 thousandths. And so I'm sitting here looking, I mean every single one of these you can see is pretty rough. And so part of that is because I was running some junk fuel, and another part of that is probably because they weren't gapped really well. I'm trying to think if there was one. This one here. So if you look at that one, it's actually not quite as dark as the other ones. It's just not so bad, but still, this one here is probably the worst because it's actually got stuff built up on the electrode, or the strap anyways. So I know you can't, there we go. Maybe you can see it better there. That was actually got stuff built up on the ground strap. So this is the last one because I've already got the other 7 in. So we're going to put this one in, and I'm going to try and start the truck, and we'll see if it'll run now. I bet you spark plug gap does matter, especially when you're talking about something with a distributor. Some of this new high energy stuff, not so much, but on this truck, you know, 10 thousandths of gap is a huge difference. As a matter of fact, I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back. So I went back and got my little tool. This is El Cheapo. You can buy these for like $1 at any automotive store. And so I just arbitrarily grabbed one of them. We'll stick it on here, and this one right here is gapped at almost 45 thousandths. So it is almost 10 thousandths more than what it should have been. I grabbed this other one here and about 42 thousandths. Grab this one here and about 46 thousandths. So we were dealing with definitely about 10 thousandths over gap on all those, and that'll make a difference. Now that might be one reason why we wasn't running too well. So I'm gonna put this one in and we'll go from there. Okay, so spark plugs are all changed. You already know we've been through everything else, so let's see. Ooh, it wants to. Better. Let's take a walk around, see what it's doing. Let's see what it'll do. We're still running on some old gas. Tell you what, for 258,000 miles, it's still got some pep to it. be running okay. I'm still kind of afraid to floor it, giving it too much air at one time without getting enough fuel. But maybe I'll be brave enough to try that sometime. Maybe I'll be brave enough to do that once we get a little bit more fuel in it. Fresh fuel, should I say, get all this old fuel out. But well, guys, that's it for this one. Hit that like and subscribe button, and I'm gonna go get a milkshake. See you guys later.